Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paperboy, and it's time for another wonderful top 10. This week we're going into the wonderful world of newspapers. Well, it's black and white and red all over. Top 10, I go through eBay, I pull out the top 10. They have to be things that I feel really sold. If I see something that seems way out of whack and it's somebody with under 10 positives, I'm not putting it up. I may put it up in the bonus section. Definitely do stick around to the end. We have some fun items at the end. Coming in at number 10, about $800 item, the New York Times, Hiroshima, first atomic bomb, August 7th, 1945, Oppenheimer. New York Times is one of the better newspapers out there that you can ever buy, just to let you know. It is the Gray Lady, the paper of record, yada, yada, yada. When you get into newspapers, people want the newspaper from the area that it happened in. So if you do have a Kennedy assassination newspaper, the Dallas one is the best, and so on. That being said, just for a general newspaper, the New York Times tends to sell the best, and the other New York papers also do fairly well as well. Coming in at number 9, this is one of the classic headlines of all time. Headless body and topless bar, complete edition of the New York Post. This is actually talked about regularly as being the most clever headline of all time. Now you know it's about a $1,000 item if you happen to see it out there. I don't know if it really sold or not for that, but I did want to put this up there. I see the person does have 0 positives who sold it, but it is indeed, you're going to get a few $100s out of this anyway if you do happen to see it out there. Absolute classic headline. Coming in at number 8, Tombstone Epitaph newspaper, volume 1, number 31, 1880, nicely framed, so that's going to add a little bit, $40 shipping just because it's framed up. $1,000. One thing you do have to be careful with newspapers is a lot of times they are, of course, they weren't made, printed to last. They were printed to give you the news of the day. A lot of times they are falling apart. Believe it or not, some of the stuff from the 1800s and back are actually in better shape because of the rag paper that they used at the time. They actually used better paper that could withstand time better than the newer stuff. You get something or other like this, I would be very, very hesitant to take it apart in order to ship it separately. If it's framed up like this, leave it framed up like this. It's going to hurt your sale a little bit because of the extra shipping cost. It beats having the newspaper fall apart in your hands, let's put it that way. But $1,000 on this. Coming in at number 7, Jean-Michel Basquiat, New York Times Magazine, New Art, New Money, February 10th, 1985, $1,100 on this over here. Just goes to show, you absolutely never know. You will find New York Times Magazine from time to time. People will have bought a number of them and saved them up. A lot of people did have the subscription to the Times. Home delivery or mail delivery, however they delivered them, to areas outside of New York City. So it was a national type newspaper. You will find things like this out there. Coming in next, 1800, Boston, Massachusetts, black bordered newspaper with death of George Washington. Got to be careful on the Lincolns, definitely, because there are a lot of modern reprints. Two things make me feel very, very good about buying this. A, the seller's got 43,000 positives and deals in newspapers, and B, it has what they call foxing. This is foxing on there. The stains and all that makes it, more likely that it's real as opposed to a modern reprint. So I'm certain this is a legitimate newspaper, and it went for $1,200. Don't get overly excited if you're out there and you see the Lincoln one. That one was reprinted regularly, so it still goes. The reprint one still goes for $20-$30, but it's not $1,000 on the reprint one by any means whatsoever. Coming up next, Andy Warhol, death, obituary, 4 New York City newspapers, excellent condition, $1,500, a couple of $100 per, or was it $500, $400, whatever, per newspaper there. Andy Warhol dead at 58. Any of the Warhol when he died or when he was shot are very, very good newspapers out there. Do keep your eyes open for them. 1782 Revolutionary War newspaper with George Washington letter, the Siege of Yorktown, $1,500 on that. Just a great, great newspaper, no doubt whatsoever about that. A lot of times they do have people's names in the top over there. Doesn't really take down in the value. Again, how many of these are out there to start with? You get it in the condition you get it in. That's what you have to remember on things like this. If you're coming into newspapers from the modern collectibles world, Funko Pops, things like that, yeah, a little ding will take the value down. Something like this for 1782, there might be five around, or and out of those five, three of them might be in museums or libraries. So you're not going to find this kind of stuff, generally speaking. Marilyn Monroe, August 6, 1962, New York Mirror, full newspaper, $1,650. They go for $600 on up. This happened to be the highest priced one out there. Great newspaper, though definitely no doubt at all about it. I've never seen it in person. I'm definitely going to be looking for it. Coming in at number 2 this week, Paul Revere masthead engraving, American Revolutionary War, 1776 newspaper, $2,600. And look, you got the little writing on it as well. Like I said, does not take down in the value. There's only a few of these in existence at this point. Very cool, very awesome historical item right over there. And the highest price item this week, 1920 and 21 Chicago Tribune newspaper collection, 1919 Black Sox scandal. As the scandal was coming on out, this person had a bunch of the newspapers they saved together. Let's see how many their newspaper pages. So these are just the pages. 17 pages, 34 front and back. So 17 pages from Chicago. Not even full newspapers, and went for $5,000 on that. Very cool. Again, came from Chicago. It was the day-to-day, as the story unfolded, somebody cut it out of the paper and saved it. So you're not going to find anything better than this out there. And it also is as the story unfolded. Now you can look it up online. You can look it up on Wikipedia or wherever and see what happened with the story. This is more as it unfolded. So you'll see a lot of red herrings and a lot of you go down the wrong path and all that sort of thing, just because they didn't know at the time. So that makes it kind of historically interesting. 100 years later, in retrospect, we know exactly what happened. This was more in the moment. So it's very interesting reading as well. Some bonus items for you here. Philadelphia Daily News, $979. Rocky statue, Sylvester Stallone newspaper, Rocky Balboa, yo Rocky. Of course, iconic in Philadelphia over there. And $979 iconic. The Baltimore Sun, September 7, 1995, Cal Ripken special coverage, final edition, $671 on this with 43 bids. And again, this absolutely ties back into what I said before, that because it's Baltimore, your local newspaper did a thing about Cal Ripken breaking the record. Lou Gehrig held it before. People don't care nearly as much. It's the fact that this is Baltimore that made this worth that kind of money. Super rare, March 1910, China First Daily newspaper, $576.88. One of those things that, this gentleman here, just by his name, is an expert on China. He earned his money by knowing that. You and I wouldn't know that. I would have bought this, and I probably would have sold it for $50 or $60 and been happy with it. Because I'm not an expert in China whatsoever. This gentleman knows what he's selling, got 5 bids, $576. And again, that's where if you have an expertise, you make the extra money. Coming up next, 1959 St. Louis newspaper, Richie Valens' Big Bopper, Buddy Holly death, Clear Lake, Iowa, $449. The only thing that I would suggest would have been I would have actually put that as my first picture. I probably would have had that as my first picture. One thing that I do that I really have to stop doing now is I put the dates of all of the things, and I'm noticing most of the newspaper people do not put the dates in specifically. They just say 1959. I would put the actual date down. Maybe I'm wasting characters. New York Illustrated News bound volume for 1861, whole year, sold for about $1,500. I didn't really count this as a newspaper because it's a bound volume. You will find various bound volumes of newspapers as well. They do go for fair money for a bound volume, but really not that much per newspaper when you realize that a lot of times. Now, this was I don't know if this was a daily or a weekly. I'm not positive, but when you take a look at the number of newspapers that come out in a year, they actually don't go for that much per issue. Biggest problem is they're bear to ship because they're huge, just to let you know on that. I've been at an auction before that had a ton of them, and I'm like, oh, my car can't even carry the weight back, let alone trying to ship them out. This one I didn't believe. January 1st, 2000 Millennium Edition newspapers, $3,000 on this. This is a manufactured collectible, not worth anything close to that. I just wanted to put that up there just to kind of get a little chuckle out of it. Do not buy this expecting you're going to get $3,000 out of it. Even if somebody offers to give you the great deal of $500, I think I would pass. Genuine and rare Dewey Defeats Truman 3-part newspaper professionally framed. It said it's out of stock. That's why I didn't count this as a sale. I did see somebody or other had one that wasn't framed, went for about $800. Dewey Defeats Truman. Famous cover right over there. Definitely $4,200. And again, it said it's out of stock. Don't know if it really sold or not. It is a good newspaper if you can find it. And the final item we had up over here today, not really a newspaper, but kind of tied into it. Red Eye Newspaper Vending Machine Dispenser, Vintage Chicago, $1,000 it sold for. Thought that was really cool. If you had a men's cave, you put that over in the corner, and definitely very interesting item for your area over there. So neat item over there, and people of a certain age remember seeing these on every single street corner, and younger people are saying, what are those? So kind of a novelty type item at this point. Unfortunately, we're all getting old, my friends. Do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.